Can I get a test real quick, you guys?
Testing.
Perfect.
Well, Spence, what's going on?
Yes. All right, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Today is Monday, April 8th, 2024. This is the City of Camilla regular council meeting. We're at City Hall on the first floor in the Honorable Mary Jo Haywood Council Chambers. And at this time, I'd like to turn to our awesome city clerk and assistant city manager, Cheryl Ford, to call the roll, please.
Councilman Burley,
Here.
Councilman Morgan,
Here.
Councilman Collins,
Here.
Councilman Pollard,
Here.
Councilman Palmer.
Here.
All right, thank you, Cheryl, thank you, council. At this time, I'd like to turn to our city manager, leading us in prayer, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It'll be my pleasure. Oh, gracious God, our Lord and our Savior, God, once again, it's time for these men to sit around this table and to make business decisions. So God, I pray that you guide their thoughts, God, their mind. God, I pray a special blessing upon their families. Keep them safe so that we can conduct this business for the city. In Jesus' mighty name, I do pray.
Amen.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, City Manager, for the prayer, sir. Thank you, everybody, for the pledge. And council, at this time, is there a motion to approve the agenda as submitted? Motion. Second. Oh, motion's been properly seconded. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. At this time, council, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the March 4th, 2024 work session? Second. A motion properly seconded. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Council, at this time, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the March 11th, 2024 council meeting?
So moved.
Second. A motion's been properly seconded. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. At this time, do we have any speaker appearances?
My name is Martha Baker.
Ms. Bailey, we got the red light going, I'm sorry, the green light going?
No, we don't. There we go. That
Yes,
better?
yes, ma'am.
Martha Baker from Camilla, Georgia. Good evening. Mr. Mayor Owens and council members. As most of you know, I'm sorry, I got a problem.
That's all right.
As most of you know, I've spent 25 years teaching in Mitchell Bay High School, hired in 2009. Before Christmas of last year, I decided to empty the tote that carried all of my school stuff. As I went through it, I ran across some items that were very dear to my heart. One of them was this pile of pictures. I looked through them. My students, black, white, Hispanic, all acting silly, smiling, as young people do. They were happy, and they were working together, and they were playing together. Another was a stack of letters. One was from a young man expressing appreciation to me on behalf of the class when I moved away for 1 year. He was white. Another from a young lady from Baconton, thanking me and her class for what we had done when she was very sick. She was black. The last one, I finally finished reading through tears as I recall it. This young lady told me she did not want to be in my class because she didn't think she could learn anything from a white teacher. Then she expressed her appreciation for my caring for all my students and for the math she had learned in my class. She was white. I sat there wondering, where did she get this idea? Was it something another student had said? Or was it something she heard at home? One thing I do know, you never know who you are influencing with your actions or your words. As adults, we need to keep this in mind. I was reminded of this as I exited the gym one day and ran into a former student who had become a teacher. We talked a bit and she said to me, "You are the reason I became a teacher." Now, teacher, that's a big deal. It was the reason that she gave that humbled me. It wasn't the knowledge of algebra that I taught her. It was because I really cared about my students. She told me of the occasion that brought her to that realization, and I remembered it well. As I said, you never know who you are influencing. As I thought of these things and how we all worked together back then, even when we disagreed, I wondered, what has happened to our city, and indeed our nation? When did things change so that people are so prejudiced that they cannot accept that you can hold opposing views without being racist? My skin is definitely white, but I most definitely am not a racist. And neither is anyone that I associate with. I feel that.
And Ms. Davis, let's hold on 1 second, man. You got 3 minutes, there will be 3 minutes. However, I'll give you an additional 30 seconds to finish it.
I don't have it once a month.
Okay.
I feel that until we accept this fact, that we're not gonna make much progress together. I hope everyone here and in Facebook land will hear my words and think very hard about how we're acting. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Baker. Appreciate it. All right, any other figure appearances? All right, hearing none, we'll get right into our action item for tonight. And the first item, council, is consideration for Simple Grants. This is a company that specializes in grant writing. As you know, for the last 2 years, this council has made it a point to allocate roughly $30,000 for the last 2 years for a grant writer. One of the things that we've done that has been pretty unique is that the city of Camilla, we're taking a different approach, right? And with our partners with the regional commission, instead of having an on-staff person writing grants, if you will, if we were to outsource that, not only would we have a firm, kind of like our city attorney, we have a city attorney, but within that firm, we have multiple attorneys. if you will. And this has worked out pretty good for the city of Camilla and for this council, I would argue. And in this case, Simple Grants is a company that specializes in grant writing. And again, this is a company. So this is someone or a firm or entity that can cover a lot of bases. And when working with folks in the regional commission, we can probably get some real good stuff here done. We have not utilized that funding or that allocation to the best of our ability over the last 2 years. And we haven't used it at all as it relates to grant writing. We've been relying on our good folks like Cheryl Ford and our city manager. And we've been pretty good. We've got some GFA loans, we've got some grants for some of the stuff that we've done here. So by no means, we have been pretty good. Just a year ago, we were a visionary city, and we put that all together in-house. But I think it's time for us to utilize that allocation for folks like Simple Grant. And instead of me continuing to run my mouth, what I will do is turn it over to Erin Britt, who represents Simple Grant. And I've asked her to just take a couple of moments to explain council what it is that they do before we actually get into the consideration of considering bringing them on board to work with us. So Erin, I'll turn it over to you, my friend.
Thank you so much, and thank you very much for allowing me to join your meeting this evening. So I just want to, I'll try to condense my explanation of our services to be respectful of your time. But essentially, we are a full-service grant consulting firm, so we handle all aspects of the grant-making process for a variety of organizations such as municipalities, school systems, nonprofits, some for-profits, but we help you identify the right opportunities for your current goals and initiatives. So I had the pleasure of meeting with Mayor Owens and Cheryl Ford a few weeks ago, and we discussed a few different things. Number one, that there are 3 primary grant opportunities that you're wanting to pursue. And then we also discussed the advantage of having what we call a comprehensive grant strategy. It's my understanding that you have developed a strategic plan of projects over the next several years for things that are priorities for you, and that strategic plan along with our comprehensive grant strategy, those 2 resources go hand in hand. You determine what is the most important things that you want to accomplish for your community. We help you find the funding to achieve those goals. So basically, like I said, we handle everything from start to finish. So identifying the right opportunities. Now that also means that we vet you for eligibility. So we read through those hundreds of pages of guidance for those grants to determine, number 1, that you are eligible. Number 2, that you have a high likelihood of winning. So for every opportunity that we review for you, we rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 is the highest likelihood that you will win that grant. We only show you opportunities that are you're above. Then of course we help with the application process and really shine in the federal competitive space. But we also look across local, state, and private foundation opportunities. And then we also assist with post-award funds management. Now the comprehensive grant strategy is something that we discussed at length, and it definitely is beneficial to you because that's a standalone document. You keep that and you have that to do whatever you please with. So no matter who ends up actually implementing the strategy and writing the applications, you have a document that outlines all of the grant opportunities that you will pursue over the next 4 quarters. And quite frequently it will include annual grant programs where you can continue to implement this strategy for years to come. So you invest in it once, and then you have something that you can build upon in later years. I also wanted to touch on the advantages of outsourcing and working with a firm like ours. You mentioned that we're transitioning away from the idea of having an on-staff individual, and that's a great idea because grants are cyclical in nature, meaning that you'll have periods of time where you're really, doing a lot of opportunities, you're managing a lot of applications simultaneously, and then you finish up those applications, and then you're in a waiting period to see if you've been awarded. And so during that time, there's not really much going on if you put a lot of energy and focus into these opportunities, meaning that if you had an individual on staff, you would be paying the salary and benefits for that person while they're essentially just waiting to see if you've won or not. So we as a firm can scale up or down as needed. During the periods when you're going after a lot of opportunities, you will have a lead consultant from our team. So someone who is particularly knowledgeable about the types of grants you'll be pursuing and those funding agencies. If they did need to expand their capacity, they can bring on other members of our consultant team, other experts, to scale up. And then, if there's a period of time where there's not a lot of opportunities that you're pursuing, then, you're not paying for that continuous work. You're just paying incrementally for the work that you're actually having completed. So going into pricing really briefly, the comprehensive strategy is $8,500. Again, that's a standalone document, and that's a roadmap of the grants that you'll pursue for the next 4 quarters, but you can build on that for years to come. That payment is split into 2 deposits. And then from there, if you decide to have us implement the strategy, you would select the opportunities that you want to pursue, and we would develop a work plan, meaning that we would take each project and say, okay, for section A, it's going to take this many hours. For section B of this application, it's going to take this many hours. You would have an idea or an educated estimate of the number of hours it will take to complete that particular application, and our hourly rate is $165 an hour. So you will never, you will never receive a blind invoice. You pre-approve and sign off on all work before we do anything. Another thing that I want to point out is that we do not have long-term agreements. You are not trapped by any sort of time period or dollar amount when you work with us. Our continued business with you is contingent on us doing an outstanding job, our service, the quality of our work, etc. So we do have an agreement that outlines the details of our partnership, but again, you can cancel that contract at any time. If you decide you don't want to work with us for whatever reason, you just wouldn't order any more work. And then essentially, bear with me, I'm just reviewing my notes. I know that there are 3 primary grant categories that you're wanting to pursue. So those would not be included in the strategy that we developed for you. We're looking to provide a broadened scope of opportunities for you to accomplish your goals. So I'd love for anyone that has questions to ask them, or if you need clarification on something, please let me know.
All right. Appreciate you, Aaron. Any questions from the council?
Mine is, more potentially an internal question. What were the 3 types of grants identified?
So we talked about some of the standard stuff that we do. Plan first. And again, this is working in conjunction. Right now, the regional commission is working with Cheryl or myself or the city manager. But if we can create an environment where our designated grant writer is working with the RDC to put something together for us, then that's just better for us. So we're just talking about the standard stuff that we typically would do. For instance, when the regional commission gets ready for, hey, we need this, we need that, we need that. What's happening right now is that Cheryl is hitting the pause button on her stuff to gather this information together. But if we can create a reservoir of information that is with our designated grant writer that is interfacing with the RDC, we think that that will be a force multiplier, if you will, long term. So we're talking again, plan first, we'll do the CDBG stuff, and comprehensive plan stuff, just the basic stuff that we typically do. But as Aaron mentioned, outside of those special things that we're looking for, their primary role is to look at who we are as a city. Based on our strategic plan, what are the things that we're looking for as a city? And compile a very specific and targeted list to attack versus basically chewing the gum and throwing it against the wall. And Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, part of their process is they're not going to offer anything to where, from their estimation, as the grant writing experts, that there isn't a fair likelihood that we will succeed. Aaron, did I get that halfway right?
Yes, absolutely. And another advantage of working working with a firm and with a team of experts is that it only is going to strengthen your internal team, meaning that, even if we were to develop a strategy and work on one application with us, the experience of having an outside perspective come in and help you to provide those narratives in the way that's most compelling for your community, it's only going to help your internal team if you decide to take this on yourselves later. So it's really to your advantage to work with us either long term or to work with us in the short term, just to learn and kind of deepen your own skills and knowledge about the grant world.
Perfect. Appreciate that. Thank you for that, Aaron. And any other questions from the council? And again, based on some of the numbers that Aaron mentioned, council, we're not even approaching the 30,000 that we've already allocated for this. So again, we have and with all due respect, Aaron, we have someone working for us that's not on the payroll, that don't require city insurance, that don't require all of the things that come with someone if we were to hire someone in this position for a fraction of that cost. But again, we're getting a team related to that. So I just think it's a win-win, not only for us as a council, but surely for our city going forward. So, any other comments? All right, so council, at this time, is there a motion to approve contingent upon final review by our city attorney in terms of the agreement? Is there a motion to approve our business relationship per the agreement as submitted with Simple Grants? Is there a motion contingent upon city attorney approval? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion's been properly seconded. Any other discussion? Yes, sir.
We need to spend our money locally, but we use the RDC. There are other grant writers in the area that we had used in the past, and rather than sending out money out of state, I think we need to do that first before we hook on these people.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, Councilman, ordinarily, I would agree, but the issue is a very simple one, and that's history, right? What outside of the awesome work that we've done with the RDC, and the approvals that we've gotten there has not been a comprehensive grant program here in the city, I would argue, over the last 10 to 15 years. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking outside of the good work, and we're going to get into that in a minute, a little bit here later in the agenda. It's acknowledged the awesome work that RDC does, period. That is beyond reproach. What I'm saying is that there are some things internally that we can do ourselves that we are not taking advantage of. We get emails every single day from state agencies talking about this particular grant, you're eligible for this grant, and we just don't have the expertise here on staff to do that. And to Councilmember Palmer's point, there is nothing that we can point to in the record to where locally or otherwise, where we've been getting these grants to do anything. We just had to demolish a gym because of the state of that building. We're working hard to get our downtown where it needs to be. We have committees that this council has created that have met maybe 3 times over the last 2 years to expedite or to facilitate those type of grants. So, we just constituted our DDA just 2 years ago from it being fairly dormant. So the history isn't there where we are utilizing this stuff. And at some point, even though we can afford it, I think at some point the people of Camilla is going to be like, hey, listen, I know y'all wanna build this and do that, and do, there ain't no grants out there to help out, you know, with this type of stuff. And that just hasn't been the case. So whereas I agree, with the statement of my awesome colleague, Councilman Palmer, I disagree with the thesis of the statement itself, because the history just doesn't bear that out. Yes, sir. Oh, Aaron, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to touch on a couple of things as well regarding the RPC or RDC in your case. We work with municipalities that frequently use those commissions. And a couple of reasons why they either transition from using those commissions to working directly with us, or if we work with them in conjunction with one another. A couple of things. Those committees or those commissions are presenting all of the same opportunities to all of the areas in your region, meaning that you are in competition with your neighboring communities for those opportunities, whereas we are dedicated to finding things that are specific to your demographics, your project needs. So when you have a dedicated grant team, we are looking out for primarily your interests rather than presenting these opportunities to everyone and having them up for grabs. Secondly, they often go after the same types of opportunities year after year. So we're here to dig into the other types of opportunities they might not be looking into. Federal, state, local, private foundation. A lot of times there's funding out there from private companies or private foundations that the RPC or RDC is just not necessarily going to look into, and those opportunities are overlooked. So when you have a dedicated grant team that is working for your interests, the longer we work with you, the more effective we become, because we understand your demographics, your needs, and we begin to provide documentation that you can repurpose year after year for other opportunities, whereas, the RPC is not necessarily developing that for you. So, we're not necessarily looking to replace them. We can work alongside them, but there are certain advantages that come with working with us that we're not going to receive from them.
Sure, and Aaron, I believe that the idea of working alongside is self-evident, and I can tell you, we have, in my mind anyway, the best RDC regional commission on the face of the planet. And I'm sure you guys are going to, assuming 4 affirmative votes here tonight, you guys are going to enjoy working with them. They are absolutely, unequivocally the best. So I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Any other comments?
I'll just say that, Aaron just made something very plain and clear for me, and gave me a great feel to know that, just as she stated, there are many opportunities out there that sometimes we do miss those wonderful opportunities. And it's not that RDC is not doing a great job, a phenomenal job, but as she stated, that they are concentrating on what is the region around us and in competition with our nearby neighbor. And sometimes those opportunities can be missed. But when we have someone that is just catered to just what's Camilla need, what is the need of Camilla? Because surely our needs is not the same as our neighboring city. And so with those things happening, it's a win-win situation when we have a regional commissioner that's working with along with this our own private grant writer. I think it's just a win-win situation, and we should just put it's really simple and point, straight to the point. And I love it, but it also gives me assurance that when someone can come in and say, we're interested in what's for your city, not no one else around us, not your neighbor, but what is entitled and what is good for your city. What do your people want? We have had a comprehensive plan that has sat on this shelf for many years, and things have not been implemented. But here recently, in the past, I argue the past 2-3 years, I think we have, when we look around, we see the change. We see the things that are happening. And just quite here recently, when we voted to change our comprehensive plan, that's the type of stuff that this city council is doing. And that's the type of expertise that we need that is going to help chaperone to move our city forward. So I'll get back to that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Just so I'm clear too, our expectation from Aaron and the Simple Grants team is just periodically we'll just get a listing of here's some grant opportunities that they discovered, and then we go from there.
I think they do a little bit more than that. And outside of identifying, I think they actively attack that. But Aaron, did you hear that question?
I did, and I do want to acknowledge that the comprehensive grant strategy that you would be purchasing would be a point-in-time analysis. So that would be opportunities that we know are either currently open or that we know are forthcoming. For example, the DOT raised grant lands pretty much the same time every year, or the FIMS grant, or things of that nature. Now, we will continue to keep you apprised of new opportunities that come across our desks, so to speak. But we will inform you of those new opportunities as they come in. But the comprehensive grant strategy, again, is a point-in-time analysis, and it's a compilation of everything that we for sure know is either currently open or forthcoming. So there will be continuous updates, but it won't necessarily be quite as comprehensive as that strategy when we created at that time.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good point. Coming in the door, you're gonna take off our shoes and our socks and say, hey, listen, this is where you guys say you were going. Here is what we recommend you move towards. If you set it in your comprehensive plan or your strategic plan, here are the grants that we think can help facilitate that. And a fair amount of maybe, and I don't want to give any percentages here, but you feel pretty comfortable based off of the experience that we may have a good shot at getting that.
Exactly. We will provide that analysis for every opportunity that you're looking at to determine if it's worth your time and the investment. And another thing is, that we would never, if let's say there's an opportunity that, and I'm just throwing out total random numbers here, but let's say the award amount is $20,000, but the application process would take $15,000. We would not engage in that project. We are not going to put you in a situation where the ROI is not, knocking it out of the park. So I want you to be aware of that as well. But we will also ensure that your money is well spent, and that we're going after opportunities where we really feel that having an expert point of view is going to be instrumental in winning that grant. And I'm looking more towards like the really complex involved grants.
Indeed. And there's a lot coming out of the federal government right now as it relates to that, from infrastructure to everything else.
And there are recovery funds that are being pulled out competitively right now that are not expected to continue. They will probably be exhausted in the next 3 to 5 years. So now is the time to seize that funding, because it's not going to be around forever.
Indeed.
Right.
Right. Indeed. All right. Any other comments?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
what is I know this is it's not an exact thing, but what does it normally take to get from your part, how many hours does it take to get a grant submitted?
That's a great question. It is very difficult to answer because every grant is different, but the ballpark figure that we provide is that federal grants, so like I said, those really competitive, the really involved and complex grants that have like a cost benefit analysis or an environmental site analysis, lots of component parts, those are going to be your most expensive. So the ballpark figure we give is between $8,000 and $15,000 for those federal grants. And then it kind of trickles back from there, meaning the state, local, and private foundation funds are generally not as complex of an application process.
And I apologize, to keep building on this or going back to Councilman Collins' good point there. Walking in the door, we're going to be given a strategy. And with that strategy, we can have that's ours. That if we go back to Simple Grants and say, hey, listen, help us get this grant, or we go to our good friends over to RDC and say, hey, listen, help us get this grant, The biggest benefit that I see with this particular type of situation is that we're gonna get a comprehensive overview of where we are at this time, at this point in time. And based on what it is that we said that we were going to do. And there is no requirement, if you will, that we go back to simple grants after we've received this comprehensive study. So it's that piece that we don't have right now, related to that. So that was good. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did want to piggyback on that, that let's say there was a particularly complex application that you would like assistance with, we can get as granular with those work plans where we say, you know, section A, section B. If you say, okay, simple grants, we want you to take sections A, B, and D, and we're gonna handle sections C, E, and F, we can get that granular with it. You can delegate the work in whatever way you see fit. So even if you do want our assistance, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing situation, but you make a very good point. You know, you have that comprehensive grant strategy again to implement for years to come. And you can use that as a template to build your own strategy in the next few years. I mean, there's really endless possibilities, and it's really an invaluable document to have in your planning efforts.
Any other comments? All right, council, again, we have a motion that's been properly seconded. Again, council, what you're voting on is contingent upon our city attorney's approval to start a business relationship with Simple Grants, with the agreement as submitted, contingent upon our city attorney's approval. Again, any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, do a roll call.
Councilman Barley,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Pollard,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
No.
All right, motion passes. Thank you, council. And Aaron, we will be in touch. Thank you very much, ma'am. We look forward to this awesome relationship. And so here, either this week or the beginning of next week, we'll go ahead and start nailing this stuff down.
That sounds excellent. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for approving this, and we look forward to working with you.
Perfect. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, thank you, council. All right. Before we move on to the next item, just anything to add, Madam Attorney? Are you good with that?
I apologize. No, nothing to add. As you stated, we'll definitely give the agreement between the city and this grant company, or the grant company, should I say, a review and provide any feedback.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. All right, so on to item B, which is, now for that, I will turn it over to our city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number B, council, is ordinance number 2024-04-08-1, package sales of distilled spirits, second reading. The first reading of the package sales of distilled spirits ordinance was held at the April 1st, 2024 work session. The ordinance provides a comprehensive and consolidated method for licensing, control, taxation, and regulation of the retail package sale of malt beverages, wine, and distilled spirits within the corporate limits of Camilla. The second reading of the ordinance is being held tonight, and council recommends approving ordinance number 2024-04-08-1 upon the second reading.
All right, council, thank you, city manager.
Yes, sir.
So council, at this time, as the city manager mentioned, this is the second reading for ordinance number 2024-04-08-1. And at this time, council, is there a motion to approve an ordinance of the city of Camilla, Georgia relating to the package sales of distilled spirits to amend Title 9, Chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinances relating to the alcoholic beverages, to provide a process for issuing licenses to businesses engaged in the package sale of distilled spirits for off-premises consumption, to provide for regulations related to the operation and location of businesses engaged in the retail sale of alcoholic beverages, and to provide an effective date to repeal conflicting laws and for all other lawful related purposes. Is there a motion?
So, second.
I have a motion properly second. Any discussion? All right, council, as was pointed out during during last week's first reading, this ordinance comes about after the referendum from the city of Camilla and the citizens of Camilla, where over 70% of the citizens said this is what we want. And we're now in those final phases of implementing this, and before we can do anything, this ordinance has to pass, because up until we take this vote tonight, it's illegal to do this. You can't sell package sales in the city of Camilla. But if this ordinance passes, it will repeal all of that and then replace that. And here in the city of Camilla, the ability to sell package sales will be open. And I want to just say again, and I think I'm speaking for the majority of the council, when we did the resolution to put this on the ballot in November. The whole point isn't about who drinks alcohol and who doesn't. The whole purpose was we are sending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars out of the city every single year to other counties and sister municipalities for the sale of alcohol, package sales, if you will. Our mentality is a very simple one. The people of Camilla are going places to buy package sales, and other folks are benefiting from those taxes. We're saying two things to the citizens of Camilla: if that's what you want, not a problem. We will set that up here. Not only you only have to drive 2 or 3 minutes now to get it, but also at the same time, those sales come directly back into this city. And the more those sales come back to the city, that reduces the amount of property taxes that you pay. That's another reason for us not to raise your utility rates. In fact, it's one of the reasons why we can give money back, if you will, on your utilities. So this is about economics more than it is about who's drinking alcohol and who's not. We're not judging up here. As a governing authority, our responsibility is to have fiduciary duty as it relates to the citizens of this city. And so for the majority of this council, I can say that this move is about the economics, nothing more, nothing less. We'll let other folks in other circumstances judge as it relates to the sale of alcohol and the consumption. All right. Any other comments? All right. Madam Clerk, we have a motion, so probably second. And just to let everybody know, because I'm sure you'll get this question going forward. If this motion passes tonight, the City of Camilla will open an application window in which sealed package store applications, including a non-refundable application fee, will start being accepted. At the expiration of this time period, all timely submitted applications will be reviewed to determine if all requirements have been satisfied for the submission of the properly completed application. The review period will be completed within a specified time frame. Those applicants who have submitted proper and timely applications will be notified, and they qualify for lottery drawing. The City of Camilla will then hold a lottery drawing for qualified applicants. No more than 3 applicants will be selected for licensure. And lastly, the lottery drawing will be held in the public after due notice has been provided to the applicants and the general public. So again, everybody, council members are not going to decide who gets a license. Chance will. Lottery will determine that. So there's no need for anybody to call anybody talking about, hey, how about that license? Right? That's not how it's going to work. You'll have an application, you'll have a time period, you'll be told what to do and how to do it, and we will go from there. Anything to add to that, Madam Attorney?
No, there's nothing to add. I think you kind of explained that process really well. It is all intents and purposes, it's just a general lottery process. So determined by, how that process is, written and how it's laid out.
Perfect. All right, thank you, Madam Attorney. All right. So the time has come. See that there's, where we are here in the city of Camilla. All right. Again, council, we had a motion, it's been properly second. Any other discussion?
The timeframe of application process, when the application would be submitted for people to submit applications, I'm sorry, how would that marketing piece be done? Would it be to the legal audience of the newspaper, our website, and that's how they would be notified?
Indeed, I think in terms of the legal piece as it relates to if this ordinance passes, that has been completed. I think it would be prudent that we would have some type of indication inside of the legal order, if you will. But I think overall, the main driver related to this process will be done within our own marketing capabilities, Facebook, and some other publications, if you will, to let folks know that this is happening. Indeed. Madam Attorney, Council Member Pollard, our second longest serving council member on this council, brings up an excellent point. Can you weigh in on that?
Absolutely. We would recommend, and really just down the same avenue you were going, Mr. Mayor, that the city really treat it almost like it's a, like a zoning process, that you provide that public notice in the avenues and venues that you all typically use, whether it be the legal organ and published on your website. Of course, if this were print newspaper that we're talking about, we could do it there. So we definitely want to create a very open and public kind of process around letting everyone know that there is an opportunity for them to submit an application. So we do, and we'll probably, and again, to the council member's point, there's some things that we could probably flesh out as far as how long the city will be advertising and again, on what forums, but we would recommend, of course, we're here to, assist and support and help and draft that policy, just creating a really structured public notice process. And again, similar to even how the city would possibly do something in the vein of, a zoning decision. So I would recommend that we move towards that direction.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Attorney. And again, everybody, it is always a great thing for our city. We have the second longest serving member on this council, approaching almost 8 years, weighing in on this kind of stuff and the value of that. Did I mention he was the second longest serving member on this council? All right. We have a motion that has been properly seconded. Any other discussion? All right. Madam Clerk, sir, roll call.
Councilman Berlin,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Pollard,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
No.
Motion carries. Council, thank you very much. And I don't think I'm out of line by saying congratulations to the city of Camilla. We've just introduced another revenue source for this city. So congratulations to you. All right, at this time, turn it back over to our city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item C is the Municipal Gas Authority of Georgia price agreement for Alltech through December 2024. The city has received a request from Alltech and the Municipal Gas Authority of Georgia, MGAG, to enter into an agreement to elect an alternative price fixed swap for natural gas. The election to choose an alternate price is pursuant to the gas supply contract between MGAG and the city and does not alter the terms or supersede the gas supply contract. This agreement period is for December 2024. The council recommends approval of the request.
All right, thank you, Mr. City Manager. Council, at this time, is there a motion to approve the Municipal Gas Authority of Georgia price agreement for all tech of December 2024? Is there a motion?
So move. Second.
And council, my apologies. And with that motion, it is to authorize the mayor to sign all documents to facilitate this action. So again, is there, we have a motion that's been properly seconded. Any other discussion? All right, just for the public, you're hearing all this stuff about MGAG and this type of thing, as relates to the Municipal Gas Authority. Again, your city owns all of its utilities, Camilla. All of them. And this is why you have the resources to do the things that we are doing. And Alltech, who's a huge gas buyer from us, and came to us and said, hey, listen, I'm tired of guessing what my gas bill is going to be every month. You know, one of your biggest gas suppliers or gas buyers or purchasers. Can you help us out? MGAG, who we work with our gas supply, created or helped facilitate this particular deal. And what happens is they're using the market to hedge what the price of gas is going to be. And if the price dips or goes up, it has no consequence to us as a city of Camilla because there's someone on the other side hedging or betting against or betting for the same price. So we're going to always get our money, if you will, but it's a huge benefit for Alltech. And obviously we want to keep them in our system. And their ability to budget every month is huge, obviously, when you talk about that side. So that's what this is all about. Okay. Are there any other comments? All right, we have a motion that's been properly seconded. Any other comments? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. City Manager.
Item D, Mr. Mayor, is resolution number 2024-04-08-1, Georgia Cities Week. The mayor and council discussed at the April 1st work session a resolution proclaiming April 21st through 27th as Georgia Cities Week in Camilla. This week is recognized as an opportunity to convey to all citizens of Georgia they can shape and influence government through their civic involvement and the important role played by city government in their lives. The council recommends approval of the resolution proclaiming April 21st through 27th as Georgia Cities Week.
All right, thank you, Mr. City Manager, and Council, as I did last week, just before we get to or actually during the mayor's announcements, I'll read this proclamation in the record. But for now, is there a motion to approve resolution number 2024-04-08-01, a resolution of the City of Camilla recognizing Georgia Cities Week, April 21st to 27th, 2024, and encouraging all residents to support the celebration and corresponding activities? Is there a motion?
So move. Second.
I have a motion to properly second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you, Council.
Item E, Mr. Mayor, is spay neuter program funding allocation. The mayor and council discussed as part of the animal control services offered by the city of Camilla a program to assist in spaying and neutering of animals for citizens residing within corporate limits of Camilla. The council recommends allocating $8,000 from the current budgeted amount for animal control to fund the program, and authorization for staff to develop rules and regulations for program participation.
All right, thank you, City Manager. Council, at this time, is there a motion to approve $8,000 from the current budget? So again, this is not additional money. This is money already inside of the 30,000 that has been allocated for animal control purposes. Right now, with Best Friends, we are spending somewhere in the neighborhood of about 22,000. So that's where that 8 is coming from. So again, this isn't any additional money. This is just a reallocation for the spay and neuter program. So at this time, council, is there a motion to approve the funding allocation for the spay and neuter program for the city of Camilla?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion properly second. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
What's the balance remaining on the 30,000 that was appropriated in the budget?
Sure. So, obviously don't have that number in front of me, but if we started at the beginning of the fiscal year, which is October, you're in the neighborhood of about 24, about roughly 20,000 is remaining in that particular fund.
Does that include all the allocations that have been spent since the contract with Stitches was terminated?
Well, let me just clarify. The contract with Stitches wasn't terminated. Stitches quit. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. So what I would say is the answer to that question is yes. Whatever other expenses as relates to the outfitting us and getting us ready, those allocations were left to the city manager to pull that from where it needed. In terms of the vehicle was already here. We didn't have to hire anybody for that. That's being handled by 2 assistant city managers. They're both receiving a stipend related to that, so which is part of that particular pay. So in essence, yes, sir, we are still sitting pretty good as it relates to that. All right. Any other comments? All right. Just real quick, you hear about spay and neuter all the time, everybody. But here's the deal: you can't have an effective animal control program if you don't have rules and laws in place to help animal control. So this is an element of animal control. And you got folks that love pets, and we love folks that love pets that bring them in, but a lot of these folks don't have the resources to get the pets or the animals fixed, if you will. This program is designed to help supplement that so that the animal can have an awesome life, to be a great partner with the owner, but without adding to the already stray population that not only here in Camilla, but in the region and honestly in this whole country. So from my perspective, this is an extremely responsible thing to do, to help folks do this. Because it takes a special kind of individual, right? That will take an animal, love that animal like it's a family member, and we can facilitate anything to help with that. I think it's the right thing to do, especially when the money is already been allocated. All right. Any other comments?
This program running through the staff of the animal control, what staff, what department would it be?
That is a great question. So it would be an administrative deal. Part of this is going to be through, there's an element of planning and zoning involved in this. Obviously, there's going to be an element of the animal control department itself. But the idea is to develop this particular policy. With allocating the funds, we can build the policy out from there. And because there's a couple of programs already out there, and because we have vets in the area that perform this service, the vision is that we will go to one of these veterinarians and say, hey, listen, if someone comes to you and they have a City of Camilla driver's license or whatever, and they have an animal that they're trying to get taken care of, when that happens, take care of that citizen of Camilla and send that bill to the City of Camilla. And the City of Camilla will then pay that bill. The administrative process of how that happens has to be built out, obviously. That's why we have an awesome city manager and a great support staff, to put that in place. So that policy will be built administratively. Our role tonight, if approved, is just to allocate the funding, and the administrators, and specifically the chief administrator, will develop those rules associated with that. And because it's not necessarily a policy per se, it's a program. And if approved, we're letting the city manager know that he has the funding to activate his staff to get the necessary paperwork together for the program. We are approving the policy of spay and neuter tonight. Great question, again. All right, any other comments? All right, Madam Clerk, is there a roll call vote?
Councilman Burley,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Pollard,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
No.
All right, thank you, council. Motion carries. Thank you.
Item F, Mr. Mayor and Council, is the drone program, official program title. The council heard at the April work session an update on the new drone program to be implemented by the city of Camilla. 3 members from the City of Camilla Youth Council will be participating in the program. The recommended official program name is Top Drone Program, and the council recommends approval of the name, which will also be implemented in the official logo for the program.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Manager. All right, as we'll get into if we get a motion, and a second, related to this. The council at this time, is there a motion to approve the title for this drone program as Top Drone, and to authorize and to select Jeremiah Florence, Nia Weston, Kayla Anderson as what we're calling them pilot candidates. So again, council, is there a motion to approve the official name of the Camilla drone program as Top Drone, and to select Jeremiah Florence, Kayla Anderson, and Nia Weston as our inaugural pilot candidates? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion, it's been properly second. Is there any discussion? All right.
I think that's just a wonderful opportunity that it gives to our youth and beyond their high school career, high school education, but goes further into what potential career in life, the wonderful opportunity that this presents to them, and knowing that even after high school, that these are their license, they are drone licensed pilots, and the wonderful opportunity which we're going today's time, the impossibility, the limited possibility that drones is provided for our world in today's time. It is just amazing, and just to know that right here, that these people that can be birthed right out of the city of Camilla, and the potential that lies within our citizens right here in Camilla. We don't have to look further nowhere else, but we have them right here. And Camilla made an investment to say that yes, we believe in ours. We're gonna take good care of our citizens. That's what this speaks to me. But also just to know that we have these students that is ready, willing, and got their parents' support. This is driving in the right direction. This is producing some amazing things. This is something that they have in their back pocket that nobody cannot take away from them. Camilla don't own it. You don't. They own this. It's theirs. And they can do some amazing things with this. Just coming from our high school. So just to see where we are today in technology and how far advanced things are going and the ability that we can help create these opportunities that some just was not fortunate to have these opportunities. That is what your city council is doing here in the middle. And these are the things that we champion. These are the things that we are so excited about. So I would just say congratulations to those candidates. It just passed on tonight, but it already passed. Young program is already passed.
The funding has.
Yes, but we are approving the funding.
Yes.
So we are actually approving the naming.
The naming, the logo, and the pilot candidates.
Maybe you're right.
Yes, sir. Any other comments? Just so that the public understands how this is going to work. This is not going to be easy for these young folks. This is a very rigorous program. Just like flying an airplane, there are some very specific rules. This is a FAA certification. And here in the city, myself and Nick out at the airport, we're lucky enough to have this certification as Part 107 pilots. I can tell you as a Part 107 pilot, this certification is all kinds of awesome. But when you're putting this type of certification in the hands of a 17 and 18-year-old just starting their adult life, you consider where we're going as a world, if you will, with unmanned flight. It is truly amazing. So what's going to end up happening over the next 8 weeks or so, Jeremiah, Kayla, and Camilla, these pilot candidates are going to be going through a rigorous administrative process as it relates to learning the rules of the sky. They will be instructed by myself and Nick. And then at some point, when we feel that they are ready, we'll take them out of the classroom and we'll put them out and we'll put these controls in their hands and watch them soar the sky. And once we're confident that they're proficient in that, we will take them to Tallahassee, to the nearest airport, our FAA approved testing center, and have them tested. And if they pass that test, they will become certified, FAA certified commercial drone pilots. So what does that mean to the citizens of Camilla? Well, we just finished our audit, and Mr. City Manager, correct me if I'm wrong, for the probably 10th year in a row, if not longer. This airport was one of two, if not the only book of business in this city that lost money, $200,000. We're not going to be able to sell enough fuel to make up that gap. We're not going to be able to rent enough hangars to make up that kind of gap. Now, we've already made some personnel decisions in order to cut that down, if you will. And I know sometimes, some of these decisions, they're not popular. But the majority of this council, we are not interested in popularity contests. You can call me anything you want to, except late for dinner. Don't call me late for dinner. We might have a problem there. But for everything else, we're not interested in the popularity. We want to do what's right for this town. And we cannot continue to tell the citizens of Camilla that one book of business is losing that kind of money without any effort to try to correct that. With this drone program, what does being an FAA certified pilot, what does that mean? That means now you can fly an unmanned drone. You can help a food producer tell where at in his crops he's not getting enough water. Or he has a bug problem in this sector. Typically, a food producer would have to walk the field or hire a traditional aircraft to try to figure that out for him. These young folks will be able to do this in about half an hour and have a report back to them the next day for a fraction of the cost. But that amount of money obviously would get pointed towards the airport line item. Won't be operating at the airport, obviously, with the flight restrictions, but the revenue would be pointed towards that line item. Moreover, when you're talking about infrastructure inspections, someone that's working on an AC in a building that is stories tall, you don't have to see anybody up there now. You call Jeremiah, he sends the drones up, takes a picture, and tells them you're leaking your water or the other components of that from your AC. That's the problem that you're having. Or we have a problem, or our neighboring city has a problem with their electric line. Can I fly out the drone, have a look up close and personal to the bolt on that pole and say, this is your problem? I have a report to you this afternoon for a fraction of the cost, but very lucrative, if you will, for the citizens of this city. We get ready to build a brand new gym or something like that, right? Part of this program is, again, this is what I'm telling you, that these young folks are not just going to learn to run a joystick, if you will. There's elements of now what we call volumetrics, where these drones can go up in the air, tell somebody like Orteg, who's doing wood chips, if you will, over here, exactly how many pounds of wood chips you got. Yeah. Without anybody trying to figure it out. I can tell you that in 5 minutes. We can do the photography. We can take the levels, if you will, from the air. So when someone comes in to the city and say, when we tell somebody we want to build a gym, we would typically have to pay somebody to come and do that survey for us. And we learned this morning that more and more of these surveys are doing just that. They're using drones for that. But that's about $3,000 you don't have to charge the citizens of the building. Jeremiah, grab your drone. Shoot this elevation, do your thing, print a report, and we'll get this to the architect or to the engineer ahead of time. And we don't have to wait 2, 3, 4 weeks to do that. Then, the biggest piece, and I think this is what Councilman Paul was touching on. When Jeremiah graduates high school, that certification is fees. We just created an entrepreneur. And it costs the city of Camilla, outside of the equipment, the drone license is about $175. But we've just created 3 brand new entrepreneurs from this city. I recognize that there's a way stuff has been getting done in this town, and we get that and we respect that. But it's time to move forward. It's time to move forward. So that's what this program is. And there's going to be some frustration and some fun for our pilot candidates, because this is going to be a lot of hard work. This is going to be a lot of hard work. But I can tell you from experience, when that FAA license shows up in the mail, that's a really good feeling. So, okay. Any other comments from the council?
Something that I think that the public can relate to this, even in just today's time. I'm an insurance agent. I'm in there, if you had a justice, you'd have been in a car wreck or something that happened to your vehicle, that the insurance, they didn't send them just out. And you wondering, how in the world do you know what side of my car got hit, or this and that? And you didn't even know that the drone had already been outside your house, they took pictures of it and everything. That's happening right here in today's time. This is the type of stuff that these kids will be able to do. it's just amazing, and it's just mind blowing that this is where we are in society. Technologies have come this far. We have came a long way, and we continue to make strides. But that only happens when we are really intentional and serious about people's future. We have to be intentional. And so, with that, I just yield back. But it just does me great joy just to see these things coming to light and to provide these wonderful opportunities for all, anyone that is interested, that is inside the city of Camilla. Truly, we're taking care of our city. Truly, we're taking care of our citizens.
And I'm glad you brought that up. So I reached out to all the high schools here in the city of Camilla to ask for that, for candidates, if you will. After putting that word out and waiting, this is where we are now, especially with the funding for the drone program already being approved, that it's time for us to move forward. And I think it's going to be a great time, especially even to the summer, for these pilot candidates to get right into this. So again, council, the motion on the floor is to approve the logo that you see on the screen here, and to approve the name, which is the Top Drone Program, and to select Jeremiah Florence, Kayla Anderson, and Kanaya Westman as pilot candidates. We have a motion that's been properly seconded. Is there any other comments? All right, Madam Clerk, do a roll call.
Councilman Burley,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Fowler,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
Yes.
All right, thank you, council. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Item G, Mr. Mayor, is the Summer Youth Employment Program funding allocation. The council discussed doing the Youth Employment Program partnership with the Boys and Girls Club for the youth ages 14 through 19 years old residing in Camilla corporate limits. The council recommends approval to continue the Summer Youth Employment Program in the amount of $75,000 from the non-MEAG Economic Development Fund.
Council, and again, any additional, we can get into that, and we have a motion and a second, comments rather. Is there a motion to approve the Summer Youth Employment Program for 2024 here in the city of Camilla, and to allocate $75,000 from the City of Camilla non-MEAG fund and or ARPA and or the MEAG fund, MEAG Economic Development Fund? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion properly seconded. Any discussion? All right. I know Councilman Morgan, you've been working real closely with this, and again, one of the facilitators of this program. Any thoughts, my friend?
I'm just again looking forward to seeing it in what this year 3, the third cycle of it. And just looking forward to it continuing to grow. For us to make our plans to make sure that this program is here to last.
Perfect. Yeah, this is going to be good for these kids to work. And right now, that funding would indicate 25,000. I'm sorry, 25 kids to work this program. And one of the exciting things that we did last year, did this program last year, which is part of our Visionary City Award, is one of the things we did do is put these kids into a commercial business, a for-profit business. And Madam Attorney, any additional work on that? You guys are still looking into that?
We're still looking into it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any high-level thoughts on being able to do that? Even if any information that you get that contradicts that. Any thoughts?
High level, not at this moment. Because I think the conversation is going in a good direction. So I can probably reserve that for some additional research that we're gonna do on the subject.
Indeed. And again, everybody, we're kicking this off. Thank you, Madam Attorney. We're kicking this off in the summer, so we want to make sure that we're doing this right. We are hopeful that we're able to put some of these young folks inside of for-profit commercial businesses as a summer paid intern, if you will. That would just be all kind of awesome for everybody, for our local businesses, and obviously for the student. Not only they get to put a couple of dollars in their pocket, but they also get to put a couple of dollars into the household. So this is good stuff. All right. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
What are the non-MEAG economic development funds, where that come from?
That is a great question. So prior to the BAG Economic Development Fund, there was a fund that was set aside as about 3 years ago. There was about $700,000 in that fund. That fund is also the fund that was used to loan or purchase, if you will, the Hayes LTI hangar that's out at the airport right now. We took $150,000 out of that, to build that. So this was a fund that was set aside, but because there was not any, it got to $700,000 because the economic development part of that fund, folks we were not using it, if you will, and the money just kept getting larger and larger and larger. And so we started thinking of creative ways to use it. So it's that fund that you're familiar with, Councilor Palmer, that was created, I guess maybe 10 or 15 years ago. It's that same fund.
What's the balance approximately?
Yeah, I would defer to the city manager, but my recollection is we should be hovering around 200,000 in that account. Somewhere between 200 and 300,000.
Yeah. And council member, that number, holding around that number is about right. I just want to make sure that there's been any kind of expenditure to make sure I check the CFO to make sure that count is right before I say that number, but it is in that ballpark.
All right, is that fund continuing to be funded?
Oh, that is a great question. That is a great, we're glad to know that. So, this fund was being funded by excess from your utility bills. So, $40,000 per year on top of what you were already paying, going to MEAG on your light bill. We added, or a previous council added that amount to your bill. And $40,000 per year was getting put inside of this account, stacking up. And frankly, not being used. We used it a couple times, frankly. But by the time Owens put his eyes on it, it was about 700,000. And then we did the research on how that money came to be, and I recommended to this council that we stop that. Well, we stopped that, and we did. So the answer to Councilmember Palmer's question, hence the reason why that number has gone from 700,000 to roughly 200,000 to 300,000, is because we no longer, as citizens of this city, fund that account in that way. On your light bill, we just don't do that anymore. So no, there is no more funding going into that account.
All right, did we get a report from the Boys and Girls Club as to the participants and progress and anything else about this particular program?
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, I was part of our audit process this year, because we had never done that before. We had never set up a program where the city of Camilla sponsored kids working and learning and interning. So with every paycheck And the guidelines within that program, if you will, the city manager gets that at the interval that he works out with the Boys and Girls Club, and they will be the administrator of this account. You guys already mentioned earlier, well, that was at another meeting, but the city of Camilla is starting a nonprofit. And folks are wondering why you're doing a nonprofit. It's for that kind of thing. Because right now we have to use folks like the Boys and Girls Club to facilitate this program for us. So by us creating our own nonprofit, the city's nonprofit, we can run that through us to make it even more transparent, not only to the citizens, but to this council. But yes, sir, those reports are regularly sent to the city manager.
When is that report usually turned over?
We get that report monthly. And then earlier when we did it last year, a couple of times, I even got it every pay cycle. So that it was early on so we can keep track of it. But at the bare minimum, I get it monthly.
All right, what's the term on that agreement?
What's the term?
When does it start, when does it end?
Well, that depends on what this council decides to do.
Indeed. And that's the point that I was just making, Councilmember, that it starts in the summer. So we have, and hence the conversation with the city attorney, they're still looking to see if we can add the commercial piece. And if we can add a commercial piece into this thing, that's obviously just gonna dictate the structure of how this works, because it's just not gonna be coming from the Boys and Girls Club. There's gonna be a report sent from the commercial entity or the for-profit entity to the Boys and Girls Club, who's gonna get that information to us. And obviously that policy is gonna have to be developed, and as the city manager correctly said, that policy will be developed by these councils.
And that's one of the things that I've encouraged, not just this council, but anyone that is out there, nonprofits. It was something that Ms. People, I had a sit down with Ms. People, and one of the things, I think she came before the council as well, and spoken on the opportunities that is there for these this program for nonprofits, and that it was brought to this council attention that there was no nonprofit that was willing to take on DEPs in the program, but the Boys and Girls Club, they took DEPs right on. And what they have produced, the things that have been produced from this program, and the amount of education and knowledge that these kids are receiving from this program, is awesome. But I would also encourage any nonprofit that is out there, because primarily before we looked into doing this other with cooperations and other things, this was put in place only for nonprofits. And not nonprofit just in the city of Camilla, but nonprofit in Mitchell County, if I'm correct.
That's
It was widespread, not just for Camilla, but for Mitchell County, any nonprofit. This is the benefit that you could have received from this program. But any nonprofit inside of Mitchell County, not Camilla. See, this is the type of work that this body is doing. But we have others that try to leverage us to do different things. But we're not just looking for the city of Camilla. What's the better good? Because we know that when our city is good, then our county can also be strong too. When our county is strong, our city is strong too. But see, you have to be, again, I love the word, you have to be intentional. You got to be able to talk the talk, but also walk the walk. And so, with that, I just give it back, and I just encourage all nonprofits. The benefit that this program have, you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed, because this program is not just designed just for the Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club is administering this program, but it is for the entire Mitchell County nonprofits. So open your doors and give these kids an opportunity, and shed some light on what you know, because we grow from one another. Thank you, right?
Yeah, and I appreciate that. council member, I think you just hit it around the head. This is a $75,000 investment, into the kids to work in Mitchell County. We just talked about a drone program, and there's not too many, farms within the corporate city limits of Camilla. So this is something that is designed to send our pilots that we're gonna train, that we're gonna pay for, that we're gonna outfit with the equipment and the technology, will go out into the county. They have those food producers out there. Yeah. All right, thank you, Councilman. Any other comments? All right, Madam Clerk, I believe that we do have a motion and a second. And again, Council, this is the Summer Youth Employment Program, funding $75,000, primary 3 accounts if needed. That is the non-MEAG Economic Development Fund, the MEAG Development Fund, and the ARP. We have a motion to the proper second. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, your roll call.
Councilman Berlin,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Fowler,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you, Council. Appreciate that. Mr. Mayor.
Item H, Mr. Mayor and Council, is the Community Garden Program. The Mayor and Council discussed implementation of a Community Garden Program to enhance and increase access to healthy and sustainable food options in the community. The Council recommends reallocating $7,000 from program implementation from the $30,000 previously allocated for the Farmers Market Program, funded by ARPA.
All right. Again, Council, we get into the discussion period once we have a motion and a second. Council, at this time, is there a motion to approve the Community Garden Program with allocating $7,000 from the already allocated fund for the farmers market from ARPA funds, and the remainder to go towards the standing up, if you will, of the farmers market? Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion properly second, any discussion? Yes, sir.
Is this program going to be coordinated with the housing authority?
Yeah, I would assume that if we're gonna be doing this on housing authority property, and it's not necessarily designed just for the housing authority, we may have other folks that'll be eligible. This is a citywide program. And the idea is that there's gonna be about 20 families that will be part of this pilot program. But yeah, I think when those two things intersect, Councilman, I'm pretty sure that we would have to have a discussion.
So that's not in the motion.
Well, yeah, I think part of that, Councilman, that the policy, I think you just mentioned it. The policy related to, this is about the funding piece. The policy of how that will work has to be later developed, and what that would look like. But this is about the allocation of the funds.
And who is eligible for this?
Yeah, again, that would be part of the policy, once it's developed. And, again, as he always has, Councilman, Morgan, is the brains behind this awesome idea, behind the farmers market, behind this program. And I'll just ask you, Councilman, if you got anything you want to add. And as it relates to the two questions.
Yeah, honestly, it will be open to all residents, housing authority or not, at this point, as it relates to those two questions. Former Fredo, again, will be assisting in this reflective refresh. They have done work with local housing authorities, but they're also working with people who own homes or just individual homeowners as well. So pretty broad. Any other comments? All right, we have a motion that's been properly seconded. The council approving the community garden program, $7,000 already allocated. Again, just to let me make that point again. This money has already been allocated. It's part of the original $30,000 allocated for the farmers market. Because you're gonna take $7,000 of that for this pilot program, and the other 23 will be to set up the farmers market. All right, so we have a motion properly seconded. Any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, is roll call.
Councilman Burley,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Pollard,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you, council. All right. And I think I'll take this.
Yes, sir.
Item I, bond letter, breakdown of Woodard LLP. So council, there was a URA meeting earlier today where we got some awesome news, and this is public information. So, as you recall, City of Camilla, is building a new gym. And we've estimated that the gym is gonna cost about $5 million to do. That gym is gonna have all of the bells and whistles of a modern facility. Not only is it gonna be a place where you play basketball and wrestle and walk for exercise, it's gonna be a huge building. Walk, exercise, it's also gonna be a community building. You can have events in this place. It's gonna be an awesome thing. And it will also double, as a quasi-teen center, if you will. We have a teen center with the Boys and Girls Club, but the teens that are not part of the Boys and Girls Club, they need a place to go to, right? So this building will be big enough to take care of them also. What we learned today, we had sent out a bid. We asked the banks, the URA is gonna handle the bond. The city, through our SPOS funds and other funding, will take care of the bill or the note every month. But first we had to put it out into the atmosphere and say, anybody want to take a chance on the city of Camilla? Anybody want to take a chance on the URA, the new Camilla URA, Urban Redevelopment Agency? Anybody want to go ahead and front this money for these bonds so we can build it here in Camilla? Here's who we are. Look at our books. Look at us as a city. Anybody got $5 million that you want to put this up? Today we learned that Truist Bank has offered to put up $5.1 billion to build this facility, but we are expecting more bids, if you will, to come in. Like I told you before, forget what you heard, y'all. You do pretty good in the city of Camilla. And I know folks, they try hard on a weekly basis to tell you otherwise. But when you have an opportunity to put it out in the atmosphere, and the folks that do this stuff have a look at the books and tell you, you know what? Let me get in on some of that. We're doing big things down here. This is because we may be getting some more bids, the URA this afternoon, on a contingency basis, contingent upon the review of our financial advisor and our attorney. If we get something in better than what was offered today, then we're gonna go that route. If not, we will, right now, we have contingency, contingent upon our financial advisors' approval and our city attorneys or URA's attorneys' approval. We have approved taking on that term sheet that was offered to us today by Truist Bank. We're extremely excited about that because obviously you can't build a gym if you got the funding. And as we spoke a little bit earlier about grants and these types of things, we have the resources to build that building as is, right? However, if we can spread that out over some years and use the bond process to do that through this brand new URA, why not do that too? So we are extremely excited about that. But having said that, and I just want to put all that out in the universe, but here's the thing, everybody, because of that we got that news literally right before the URA meeting started. So because of that, council, I would like to ask, is there a motion to table this item until the URA gets all of the information in and other bids in from other banks potentially to see which way we're going to actually go? So with that being said, council, is there a motion to table this item until further notice?
Motion to second.
Now, motion has been properly seconded. Any other discussion?
I'll just add that, Mayor, if you could, I'm not sure, but, could you tell us, how long has it been out? And you received this, what I would say, awesome news, and love to take files and that, that 5.1 million that somebody has already offered, but I'm just curious to know how long did the bid actually go out before you actually receive it from a bank that says, I'm ready to take you on, because I realize that in some of the smaller projects that we do around here, that sometimes we take bids and bids come in very slow, or sometimes bids come in essentially we cannot take care of in those aspects. But I'm just curious to know how long will the bid out before you receive your first offer?
5 days.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is here in the city of Camilla. Here are the books. Here's who we are. Do your research. What do you think about us? 5 days later, a major bank in this country, if not in this world, has said, let me get in on that.
That's awesome. But it also speaks to when we think about, when I'm just thinking about the grant writer, when we put the people that have the expertise behind these things, we put them in place to imagine the things that can happen, how quickly things can actually take place. When you're putting the right people in their rightful place that know how to get these things, knows how to bring these things, knows where they're at, and just to deliver. When we're actually looking and seeking those ones, but not stuck on what is local, because local may not be the option always. But if it's something that local is not used to, where else we gotta look to? We can't stay there, because that's been a problem for so long. We've been looking for local, but we've been staying in the same spot. We haven't made no progress. Because it's time that we realize that local may not understand and local may not know neither. But now we spread that opportunity so that local, not just the city, because I'm sure there's local opportunities. There's local entrepreneurs that might want to take on these same opportunities. Just didn't have the know-how, but now, through the city of Camilla, my God, they now know how to seek these opportunities. So that's the type of stuff that you do when you collaborate, when you're networking, when we're going off to different trainings and we're going through these exhibition halls and different things. When we receive these, I understand that sometimes some things are happening that you may not know. But that's why you elected me. So we ask that you trust it, that you support it. Rally behind your people. Go tell your neighbor that Camilla got something going on. We ain't got to stay behind. That's a matter of a choice. That's just a matter of a choice. It's time to live up to our water tower. It's time to really grow. And I think we're heading in that direction. I'm so excited about it. I yield that.
Any other comments? The Councilman Pollard's point, when we knew respectfully that we needed a new facility. And if we're gonna spend if we're gonna spend millions of dollars, let's bring in the latest technology from the ground up, right? So when we said to our new city attorney, hey, listen, we're gonna have to do this, and how do we, because we're just not gonna tear it down, right? We're gonna build something else there new. Guess what the city attorney said? This is to Councilman Pollard's point. City attorney said, I hear you, Mr. Mayor, but here's the thing though. Down the hall, we got an office that do just that. Why are you asking us to go find somebody? We do that already. Right now, hold on for a second. Hold on for the phone. Let me walk down the hall real quick. Hey, City Camilla is trying to get a $5 million bond to do such stuff. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Let's get it rolling. 5 days later, or the course over the last 60 days or so, our city attorney is not just telling us about resolutions. And granted, the city attorney's in Atlanta. But where's all the stuff going up these days? Who's having the expertise to get inside of that stuff? So not only are they writing resolutions for us, they're helping us to facilitate $5.1 million loans. Nothing against anybody, local or otherwise. But you can't grow by keep on raising people's light bill and raising their property taxes. That's not how you're gonna get it done. But let me digress real quick on that, and ask our city attorney if she has anything to add as it relates to tabling this until we get a little bit more information. Your thoughts, Madam Attorney?
Again, really great conversation here. I think the direction that we received from Mr. Edwall as well as bond counsel, just on parsing out the deal a little bit will probably be within the best interest of the city of Camilla. So I think tabling it for now would be good, because once we kind of get some eyes on that deal, and he's, Ed is just excellent at what he does, and so he's gonna make sure that it's sound, and then I think you all could, properly evaluate the rest of the situation, but I think moving in this direction would be a good, next step.
Indeed. All right, thank you. All right, council. Again, we have a motion properly second, and it is to table item I to further notice to get more information from the financial advisor and our attorneys. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor of tabling this item? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. All right, we're down to item J, and I think that's me.
Yes, sir.
All right, so real quick, and our awesome, and Suzanne, I'm gonna give you 15 push-ups later on, because it just dawned on me, we could have got you up front, my friend. And you've been sitting here patiently, waiting until we got to this point. But this is what I meant when I was speaking to Representative Allen at Simple Branch earlier in this meeting, that the type of commitment Summit Regional Commission has shown this city is beyond reproach. And we are grateful, my friend, for your partnership. So with that being said, council, item J relates to, there's a couple moving parts here. So the CDA, the Camilla Development Authority, Councilman Palmer is the chairman of that board. The CDA owns McCree Hall, where the Regional Commission is inside of. But the city of Camilla, without going deep into the weeds, if you will, there was a loan or money that was that created a degree of debt, if you will. The city of Camilla came in and paid that off. However, the building, even though the city of Camilla paid it off, and the monthly payments that the Regional Commission makes every month comes to the city of Camilla, that checkbook is kept here. in the city of Camilla. A building, though, still belongs to the CDA. So during a recent CDA meeting, the conversation was, and just knowing the majority of this council, I felt very comfortable in recommending, hey, listen, the regional commission has been paying for this thing for years. And honestly, they're not even getting any closer to, it seems like it anyway, any closer to the end of this thing. And just looking at the math, they've already paid back, I would say in the neighborhood of 200,000, not a little bit more. And this thing is still scheduled not to end until 2035 or something like that. What I recommended, just knowing how this council moves, a majority of it anyway, I felt very comfortable floating the idea of the CDA, since we paid for it anyway, transferring this building to the city of Camilla. And the city of Camilla will assume possession of this building and charge the RDC $1 per year versus $27,000 thereabouts that they're paying now in that neighborhood, right? Somewhere in that neighborhood. The work that the RDC does for this region, not just the city of Camilla, is beyond reproach. Beyond reproach. So saying to the regional commission, do your work and don't worry about how you're gonna come up with this $27,000 this year. Give us $1 a year and just do your work. We just want you concentrating on the work that you do, not just for us, but for this entire region. I'll say that again. Not just the work that is done here in Camilla, but for the entire region. The city of Camilla paid that money to get this done, right? And we're not gonna ask anybody for a penny. It's just the right thing to do from my perspective. So council, what you've seen in your packet is the outline related to Suzanne and who's executive director of the RDC, and what they are prepared to do or accept in terms of lease terms. Because we don't own the building, we can't offer lease terms to the RDC, right? To the Southwest Regional Commission. We can't do that. The building isn't ours. But what we can do is give the Regional Commission some comfort that if the building is ever conveyed, and maybe Councilman Palmer can speak to this on when that will happen, that once this building is conveyed, if the council votes tonight on some of those points that the Regional Commission would like to see, that will make them feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that once this is done, this is going to happen. And that's what I'm asking the council to do, is to give the Regional Commission and Suzanne the comfort in knowing that once this building is transferred to us, this is what we're going to do, and this is going to be our word, if you will. But Suzanne, do you have any words related to this? Yeah, please.
Good evening. Yeah, I just want to thank the mayor and the council for considering this, first of all, and the development authority as well. But we have been strapped with large lease payments, and as you can imagine, on a historical building, a lot of maintenance and upkeep. And this would get us back basically to the previous agreement that we had with the city when we were at the Neal building, which was, we started out there with no lease payments, no utilities. We pretty much, they just housed us there. And that would kind of get us back to that.
Indeed. And Suzanne, if you don't mind, can you just go over some of the things that you would be comfortable with as it relates, obviously, the more legalese, if you will, get worked out down the road. But I think you have 4 or 5 major things that you would like for us to say that this building is transferred to us, that you will feel pretty good about that. All right, you got those?
I didn't bring it with me.
Oh, that's all right.
I think I can remember it.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Yes, I think we spoke when we were in the development authority meeting that a 10-year lease term renewable of a mutual agreement between the city and regional commission. as the mayor said, a 1-year annual lease payment. Repairs and maintenance, just right now in our lease with the Development Authority, we do get assistance with maintenance, major maintenance. So I propose that we still get some of that assistance. The insurance, the city would provide insurance on the structure, the regional commission would provide insurance for personal property, liability, and workers' comp. That's the same setup that we have now. That doesn't change. And we had a roof repair, I think somewhere in July of this past year, that was about $19,000. And under the agreement with the Development Authority, any large item over $2,500, that we would present that and we would be reimbursed. So if we can get this agreement, and I would say that we would forgive that repayment of $17,110. And as always, and as we do now, the Southwest Georgia Regional Commission will continue to, offer meeting space to other local governments, nonprofits, any kind of business meetings or any kind of conferences or anything as we do now.
Okay, perfect. And I guess the $1 million question in the room would be, and I would ask you, Councilman Palmer, from your estimation as chairman of the CDA, any indication of when maybe the paperwork for the transfer or the conveying of that property to the city would happen?
We'll be having a meeting in the next 3 weeks. This will be discussed, but as of now, the authority has not voted to transfer anything to anybody. It was brought up at the meeting, and that's, was to come back to us, and when we have that meeting, we'll be able to answer that question.
All right, so now I'll be honest with you, just judging from the minutes of that meeting, my apologies, Councilman, just judging from the minutes of that meeting, it appeared that that item was voted on, and that hence the impetus of the catalyst for starting the conversation. Obviously, as the chairman of that board, I won't argue what you believe happened in your meeting. But what I would say is that if we can get this done on an expedited basis, let me ask you this way. Councilman, are you in favor of conveying the building to the city of Camilla for us to work this deal out with the regional commission?
I will let the board make that decision, and you'll have to wait till they meet to get the answer.
So what we'll do tonight, Suzanne, is solidify that if and when the building is ever transferred to the city of Camilla, this is what we will do for you. So any other questions or comments?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, thank you. Yes, ma'am, thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you.
All right. So council, at this time, is there a motion to contingent upon the transfer of the property, Great Hall, that the Southwest Regional Commission is currently inside of or operating out of, that if the property contingent upon the transfer of that property to the city, that this city pledges, if you will, contingent upon that transfer, a lease term, a 10-year lease term, renewable upon mutual agreement between the city and the SWGRC, a lease amount of $1 annual lease payment during the first of each month. Repairs, any one repair maintenance expense exceeding $10,000, the Southwest Regional Commission will seek approval from the city before proceeding with said work expense. And insurance, the city will provide insurance on the structure, and the Southwest Regional Commission will provide insurance for personal property, liability, and workers' comp. And the Southwest Regional Commission will waive the $17,000 for prior roof repairs at the property in exchange for negotiated lease terms as agreed between the city and the Southwest Regional Commission. And the Southwest Regional will, as they've always done, provide meeting space as available to other local, state, or federal governments, authorities, public or private businesses upon request to conduct meetings or other business type events. Summit Regional Commission will not provide entertainment space for personal events. And anything that I've missed in this in request for this motion, council, will just this email that's in your packet will serve as what you or this council is agreeing to. Is there a motion?
So,
Second. I have a motion and proper second. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to, ask, I overheard that that was a loan on this particular bill or something.
Yes, back in the day.
Yes, sir. How much was the loan and why is it that the CDA couldn't stand up to the obligation?
Yeah, so we would have to literally open up the kitchen, put some neck bones on and have a long conversation regarding that, my friend. That is a long, winding road, if you will. But the original deal was somewhere in the neighborhood, I want to say $250,000 to $300,000, and then there was an additional loan amount, I think for repairs, about $75,000. And again, I'm just going off memory here, but all told, somewhere in the neighborhood of $400,000, thereabouts.
And they are still paying rent.
The reason, yes, sir. And that rent, because we paid it all, that rent is coming to us. And what this council is considering, even though we won't even get close to paying this, they won't even get close to paying this off until at least mid-2030s. We're just saying enough is enough. You know what I mean? And it was $1 a year, and continue to do the good work that you do. But again, we can't do anything until the CDA meets and approves conveying this property.
Let me clarify something that was said. It was, that's not rent. It is payments on the loan to the city.
Okay.
It's not rent.
So let me clarify. Money that we paid off alone and told the regional commission to pay monthly back to the city of Camilla. If that makes it easier. Okay. Yes, sir. You good? Yeah. That's great. All right, so go ahead, please.
are these type of agreements, leasing agreement, are they typical, with the, I guess, intergovernment agreements, are they type typical when we do a leasing with other entities such as this? I think I heard her say back in quite some time ago in the McNeil building that we had some kind of agreement, I'm sure it was an intergovernment agreement that took place. So these things are typical to happen. So, but what I'm hearing tonight is that the CDA has a building that the citizens of Camilla paid for.
Yes. Yes.
And we have a good relationship, working relationship, people that does business for the city of Camilla, for the region that's inclusive. And we're here, really, yeah, I get it. If we don't know when we want to convey some property, and I assume that we got to convey the property over to the city of Camilla so that this agreement can stand.
That's right.
And the only reason I assume that this agreement is standing now is because maybe perhaps the CDA is not willing to do the same agreement that the city of Camilla is right now saying we're ready to do.
Well, I think, to that point, there's another twist in there, in that the CDA, you're right, they don't receive a dime of this money because we, the city, paid it all or covered it. Somebody back in the day bought it for whatever reason, didn't do it or wouldn't do it or pay it off, if you will, city came in. That was our intergovernmental agreement with the CDA. But then there was another 75,000, I think, that came into play. We paid that off too, and said, okay, we'll take that, but CDA is your building, but you're not gonna get the payments. So the payments come to the city of Camilla, and Sheriff Ford, has that checkbook. So this tonight is all about, we paid for the building.
So it's, to me, it's just like you're holding them as hostage.
What
That's what it seems like to me.
what I would say,
You still wanna hold on to something that the city have paid for.
well, you know, what I would say in a very and not disagreeing with your thesis, but what I would say in a very non-political way. What I'm hearing is that the regional commission just want to do their work.
They do.
And if there's a way to reduce that overhead in a fair and comprehensive way, that's all they're doing. And what I love about the regional commission, and Suzanne specifically, they don't get in the middle of the stuff, right? They're just looking, hey, can we work a deal? To your point, the problem is we can't work this deal. We can't enter into a lease. That lease that they have right now is with the CDA, but the payments come to us. So we can't enter into a lease with the regional commission on a building we don't own. So I would ask respectfully that the CDA meet post haste as soon as possible for us to transfer this property to us so that we can, if this motion passes, give some relief to this awesome agency, so they can go about and continue to do the good work that they do for this region. All right. Any other comments?
Again, the meeting will be posted in the next 3 weeks. You're welcome to come.
Well, I'm part of the board, so. I'll be there anyway. But hopefully, with some good stuff happening there. All right. Any other comments regarding that? Continue. All in favor?
Hey,
All right. Councilman Collins, will you, okay. Mayor votes yes. And just so everybody understands, here in the city of Camilla, an abstention is recorded as a no vote, as a negative vote in the city of Camilla.
well, it's a conflict of interest is what I say. It's not a no vote.
Okay. All right, the mayor votes yes, motion carries. Suzanne, please feel free to convey to whoever that we agree to this, once this property is conveyed to us, contingent upon that conveyance. If you would. All right, thank you. All right. So at this time, city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Some updates on some projects that has asked me to work on. The speed tables for Palmer and Butler. We've come up with a design. We think we know the right placement. I will send that schematic out to all of you to get me some comments. We have not figured it out yet because but thus far we know we're putting them on Palmer and Butler. The permanent type, the speed tables, not the ones that we can just buy offline. So I will be sending you that probably tomorrow.
Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir.
Define permanent.
The permanent ones is when we actually go in and scarify the asphalt in the street. And then a company like an asphalt company has to come out and put across the entire road according to the GDOT specifications.
All right, so for the sponsors of this, was that the intent?
Yes. Yeah, I spoke to them already.
Oh, perfect.
Also an update on the frac building. You know, I came back to you a couple of weeks ago and talked about HVAC transferring out of that old building. We talked to Andrea Pizza over in Boys and Girls. She conveyed the property, said I can take it and move it over to the frac building. So that's gonna happen this week. We're gonna start demolishing the HVAC, get it all, the ones that we know that are working, and start coordinating with the frac building to get it reinstalled over there. Take all those window units out, all that metal off the windows, so that building can kind of get updated a little bit, if you will. The demolition on the old Boys and Girls Club, we have just finished the first piece of making sure that there's any kind of contaminants, got it out. So now we're gonna release that bid for that building to start demolition. Tomorrow, we will be in the cemetery to begin surveying and laying out those roads. It will not be permanent because I need Ms. Jackson, who's the manager of the cemetery, to make sure she's on board. And she is out right now, so if there's any question about a grade before we survey that road in, I need to make sure that she can certify that we're not going over a grade, if you will. But tomorrow we'll be in the cemetery for that. We also have a rendering of what the inside of the Camilla Resource Center, the houses of Boys and Girls Club. We have a rendering what it looks like now. We met with them last week. And of course, the final project is the railroad crossing. We are meeting with them also tomorrow. We've started the cut already. They walked the ground with us, told us exactly what to do. So we've started all that already. We have all the safety features in place. And that is just a matter of they coming back to us and said, this is the schedule. But we've done everything that we can to make sure that this project goes without a hitch. Subject to your questions.
Do you mind repeating that second point, the frac?
Yes, sir. What I did was, there was some HVAC units in the old Boys and Girls Club that worked beautifully. Matter of fact, a couple of them was brand new. But the other buildings still got these old window units. So I just want to exchange.
Cemetery, any estimated date, time on finishing the fencing?
The fencing, as we know it right now, is finished. There was some cleanup that was supposed to have gotten done today. I don't know that got done. I saw two of the fences up. I've seen all the connections to the pillars up. I think my biggest issue right now is cleanup.
I actually should want to know the day of it. When I say fence, I'm talking about the gates as well. Currently, there's only 2 gates that is built.
Yes, sir.
And there is I won't say it's like 3 or 4 that is not completely put up yet.
Well, Councilmember, when we did that bid, there were only 2 gates. If you recall, the other gates had just chain link fence and or some sort of metal gate. It was not gated or like the other one. So when we bid this project out, we bid it out at entryways. And so that's the gates that you see now. The additional gates, we have not purchased. If you want gates at all of those entrances, that we have not purchased those.
Well, when you say we bid out the interest gate, though, we haven't made any new interest
No.
at the cemetery.
What I'm telling you, the interest that without the round the gates right now, the other gates are the opening at the cemetery where we had just it wasn't a chain link fence, there was some sort of metal rods going across the opening.
So was it not communicated that we wanted gates at every entrance?
No, sir. We bid it out, the gates at the main entrance and the exit where you see right now. We did not bid out round gates at every entrance. I mean, at every proposed entrance. But right now, we were only using entrances at the front and the back. And quite frankly, we probably should keep it that way.
Front and back, I'm not understanding.
Martin Luther King and go all around the curve where you see the other gate.
Yeah. Yeah, so let me just make sure that we're all on the same sheet. It's my understanding that the Marjorie Council, the vision or the idea was that there would be gates at every entrance. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. So,
We could do that, Mayor. I'm just saying it wasn't in the original bid.
got it. What do we need to do? Because I think that's what we've been looking for, which is, if that's not happening, that's fine. What do we need to do now to get that done?
I've already started that process because we didn't bid on it originally. What I said to the contractor, okay, I know what we bidded on, but I think I know what they want. Give me a change order.
Gotcha.
And so that's what he's preparing, then I'll bring that back to you guys.
Is it possible, depending on that amount, we may want to rebid that, if that's the case? Because I think I am, without saying it all the way out publicly. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So yeah.
So we're liking 2 more.
Okay.
I actually think it's 3, Councilman. I think it's 3.
It's 3. Okay. So when you talk about the main entrance, where would you say the main entrance is?
You know where, close to where I can explain it is, you know where the Risa building is.
Okay, that's
That's what I'm
okay.
calling
So
it.
what about around the curve where most
That-
everybody go in?
That's where the second gate is.
Okay. And then there's another gate right below that gate.
There's
That's the
another,
one that you had the bars around, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. Below the recess, there's another entrance.
Down by the house.
No, that's the one that had the bars.
Okay.
I'm talking about right there behind the, 5, okay, that's what I thought. I thought on, right there behind where the recess school at,
Mm-hmm.
the first gate, second gate, and I think it's the third one.
Yeah.
Right there, before you hit the curve.
Yes, sir, it is.
And then after you hit the curve, there is 2 more.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We still need 3. We're going to install those 2.
So will you need additional, and I'm assuming, once we see what this change order looks like, you're gonna need additional funding for that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So council, is there a motion? Go ahead.
Here's the problem I have with it. We put up, the posts for the gates. But now we're being told that there is no gates. But why did the post get put up for the gates if we didn't order no gates for it?
Wait a minute, Councilman. If you recall, the opening was always there. And it was not a route iron gate there. There was no route iron gates, but there were bars acting as a gate.
There have been installments for the gates at every intersection, at every post. But what I'm hearing tonight is that we're not gonna receive no more gates, but we didn't put that in the order. But what I'm saying is, if it wasn't in the order, why did they come and install the post to put more gates at every entrance?
That's what I'm saying. Everywhere there was a roadway or a driveway,
There should have been a gate, right? Because they put the post there for the gates.
okay, let me say it again. Everywhere there was a roadway or a driveway, you're right, we can put a gate there. However, when we bidded the project was at the front, at the main entrance and the back. We did not where the bars were. And so what I'm saying to you tonight, I recognize that's what you want. So that would require me to go back.
And I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I believe it alone, but I just want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. Is that it was already, it's been installed. But I'm gonna leave it as it is.
So council, what I'm hearing is that there's 2 gates two that were coming.
Oh, yes, sir.
Three that coming, two that were definitely gonna get paid. Or
Okay.
already.
Yes, sir, we got two in.
Gotcha. Three of them, there was no plan to put them in at that particular time. So council, at this time, is there a motion to amend the agenda for tonight, to add to the item, to authorize the city manager to facilitate whatever needs to get done to get the bid for those additional 3 gates? Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Got a motion, properly second, any discussion? All right, all in favor? All right, all opposed, motion carries. All right, council, at this time, is there a motion to authorize the city manager, that was to add it to the agenda. Is there a motion to authorize the city manager to do administratively what is needed to facilitate in the proper bid to install the 3 additional gates? Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
And motion properly second, any discussion? All right, all in favor? Opposed, motion carries. All right, so the city manager, you're good to go.
Yes, sir.
You get that done.
I'll make it happen.
All right. All right, any other comments? All right, so council, I'll be real brief. There's a lot of good stuff happening in this city, and on May 2nd of this year, May 2nd, will be the mayor's State of the City address to address everything that is happening in this city. Outside of a weekly address or any of that, this would be the more comprehensive State of the City address. But just as a preview, if you will, we have been doing a lot in this town for almost every demographic that we can think of, which is awesome. But I would like for this council, as we move into May and have this conversation, and again, it's part of a larger conversation. What I would also like to do is start having a conversation as it relates to our segment of the population that is disabled. And how do we address those challenges, if you will. We have a couple of programs in terms of what we can do in terms of ramps and this type of thing at the home. But what about what we're talking about inside, those features inside of the house? And again, I know that that's more of a comprehensive conversation, but I want to put it in the atmosphere so that as we progress down the road, that we can have that conversation also as it relates to that. Any comments regarding that? Okay.
I was also added, just so that you brought that up, I did the program over the assistant with the homes, come to buy the region development. Whatever that event was, no, it was about the repurposing of homes due to weather issues.
Yeah.
Improvements.
Yeah, so
that program.
and it's because of that, Councilman Pollard. Again, everybody, second longest council member serving on the council, asking that question. And it is literally the reason why I brought that up as it relates to the disabled folks that we have here in the city, because that program touched on a very specific age group, right? And I don't have the numbers to that, but what I can tell you is that it's a very popular program. But that program addressed our aging population. But we also have folks that are in the disabled community that program did not touch. So it's because of that we may need to have a conversation regarding those folks. But to answer your specific question, I don't have those numbers in front of me, but what I can tell you is that the phone was ringing off the hook when we started that program. All right. So again, everybody, comprehensively, what I want to tell you about what's happening in this city, you may be tuning in at 7 o'clock on the night of May 2nd to see that. as we head into the work session for May. And barring something that we need to do as it relates to this bond, with the bank, we probably won't be meeting again until May. So that's when you guys will, see. All right, any other comments? All right, council, it appears that we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Eric. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Again, I apologize. I could have done this at the beginning of the deal.
No, that's what you apologize for.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.